Hello and welcome. I'm Ann Carrico from AnnieandEverything.com, and I'm here to talk about all things homeschooling high school. Many moms feel like they have no time for themselves. I asked in my Facebook group called It's Not That Hard to Homeschool High School, I asked moms what were they struggling with right now. And many of them said, I have no time for myself. I can't do any hobbies anymore. I spend all day homeschooling and cooking and cleaning and serving everybody else. And there's no time left in the day for me. This can happen whether you're homeschooling youngers or middle school kids or teenagers. Sometimes when it gets to the teenage years, though, or our oldest are in high school, this is when we can begin to just be so tired because it's been years and years of this by now. And we are wondering when the time will come when we can ever regain our sanity and feel like a whole person again, rather than somebody who is always doing for others and there's not enough time left in the day for ourselves. This is a growing process. This is something that we are going to be constantly learning about and adapting in our own lives. And I'm the same way. So even though I'm at a stage of life right now where 4 kids are out of the house and there's only one left in the house, and she's a very self-sufficient teen with her own schedule, and sometimes I feel like I don't see much of her at all, I still can feel this way. Now, I have other circumstances going on in my life. I work outside the home 25 hours a week, and then I'm here doing the podcast and in my Facebook group much of the remaining time. And then there is the cooking and the cleaning and the being the bus driver to get her to places that I need to be there with her. And it can get overwhelming. So, I also forgot the wedding that's coming up here in just a few weeks now in my family. When you put life circumstances all together, we all can feel like we're constantly spinning our wheels and there's never enough time for us. And at each season and each new thing that enters, we need to reevaluate how we're going to make this work so that we can protect that person inside ourselves who needs regeneration from time to time. So I've come up with 10 suggestions that have worked in my life. Sometimes it's something that's going to work well in one season and not so well in another, but all of them have worked for me at one time or another. And I keep coming back to some of them over and over and over again. So I want to share them with you. And maybe you'll find 1 or 2 that you can put into your life right now that can give you back some of that sense of self, if you know what I'm talking about. As a master of meltdowns myself, I would have to say that I've learned that it's better to be more consistently stable but less overall productive than it is to be getting everything done, being the mover and shaker, but being an emotionally unstable individual. So we're coming at this with the idea that we are going to create a more even keel for everyone. And it starts with creating one for ourselves. Our kids are going to remember the times when mom was having fun and joyous more than they're going to remember what exactly mom got done in a given day. They're also going to remember, unfortunately, the times when mom lost it more than they're going to remember, again, what did mom get done each day. So we need to have a better overall perspective and not so much of a list of to-dos perspective. And so that's what I'm aiming for today. Probably my biggest suggestion, and one that I implemented for many, many, many years, and was probably one of the largest things that helped me do as best as I could, was instigating and maintaining an afternoon quiet time. I mean, literally quiet with not a lot of noise. And the reason for that was because everybody had their own place to go. So we all had some kind of relative solitude for at least an hour or 2 every single afternoon. This was more so when I had kids of multiple ages, but even the high schoolers would spend a portion of the afternoon all by themselves, being able to work on whatever they wanted to work on. The younger kids went to their room, even if somebody is past nap time age, they might still spend time on their bed with books. And then, those 8 or 9-year-olds, sometimes they still need a nap every now and again. And if they're on their bed or in their room, then and have that opportunity every single afternoon, then they might lay down and get that nap when they need it on those occasional days. I definitely enforced this for years and years and years. I did not, once a kid gets old enough to stop napping, I did not let them roam the house or be up during the afternoon. Everybody, for years, this afternoon quiet time was part of our schedule. And we all knew that for that time of the day, everybody went to their own spot, and there was not a lot of interaction during that time, and there was not a lot of noise during that time. I needed that. And you know what? I think my kids needed that too. And it helped all of us to have a little bit more of a stable emotional life as a family. So I recommend that you instigate that if you don't have that going yet. Here's another thing I used to do, and actually still do a lot of. Of course, my teen sleeps till noon. Here it is 11:47, and I haven't seen her yet today. But even when the kids were younger, I did try to get up earlier than the rest of the family so that I could have some personal time with my cup of coffee and my Bible. Doesn't matter if you're not a Christian, you still need time by yourself. Maybe you're reading a good book. Maybe you're just looking over a magazine. I don't know. But when you get up earlier than your family and can have some time by yourself, it does help start the rest of the day. Or maybe you're getting up earlier than your family so you can get a start on breakfast or can straighten up the house a little bit rather than doing it the night before. Now, some of you may say, but I stay up later than my family, and I get that. My question is, are you as productive staying up later as you would be getting up earlier? That's my question. So just something to think about. I know that in the evenings, I'm not capable of doing much but sitting around and maybe knitting. That might be the most productive thing I can do in the evening. I definitely don't want to straighten the house in the evening. So I save that for another time of day and just whatever works best for you. But in my own life, I found that getting up at least an hour earlier than the rest of the family gave me some time to get my brain on straight, to be prepared for the day ahead, rather than waking up after them and feeling like I was always playing catch up all day because things were hitting at me without me having thought them through ahead of time. So that's just me, and that might work for you too. Number 3, always plan for things to take longer than you think they will. Don't set yourself up for being in rush mode all of the time. Whether it is switching out subjects to get to the next subject, whether it is getting ready for church on Sunday, whether it is preparing dinner, whatever the task, it will take longer than you think it will. So plan extra cushion time into just about everything. And then we don't set ourselves up for that situation where we're constantly rushing and always late. We find ourselves in that situation enough as it is. So let's not stack the deck against ourselves by trying to crowd too much into the day. And along those lines, then this is number 4 now, pick the 3 most important things to get done in any given day. And you could do this before the day starts. What are the 3 things that I want to make sure I get done today? And, for a lot of us, it might be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If I get those 3 things done today, it's a success. Yes, maybe that's what we need to focus on for a while. But maybe there are other things. Maybe you need to get the teens' transcript put together. And then you need to get the living room carpet vacuumed. And you need to make sure that the 5th grader understands that long division problem they were having trouble with yesterday. Maybe just those 3 things is what you get done today and you feel a success. Try not to stack up your day with 10 things that have to get done today. Try to pick the 3 most important. And guess what? If you get those done and there's extra time, you can always add more. But at least you have a sense of success that those 3 things I picked out, yes, they got done. Here's another biggie, and it's great when you have older kids in the house because this becomes that much more of a thing. Delegate. Let the kids take out the trash. Let the kids make lunch. Let the kids make dinner. Let the kids vacuum the living room. Make that a part of your day-to-day life. You don't have to do it all. You could even delegate the teenager grading the fifth grader's math work for the day so that you don't have to feel like you have to have your hands in every single pie. Delegate, ask for help, and then receive it graciously and show appreciation for it. Don't always make it a must do, or I'm going to be disappointed in you, or you didn't do, what you were supposed to do. Put it in the terms of, hey, I need some help. Can you please help me with this? And then be appreciative afterwards. And that can go a long way towards your own sanity so that you're not crowding your day. Also, it's always good for everybody to feel like they're contributing to the family as a whole. And especially when you show appreciation for that, that's developing these bridges, building these bridges within the family. And that's a good thing. So, along those lines, number 6 would be to lose the perfectionism. And I am huge on this one. I can relate to this so much. Y'all, when I write a blog post, I get it written and then I probably spend another full half an hour just reading and rereading and reading it again to make sure that everything is just so. Well, so this applies in homeschool too, right? We can overdo stuff because we want it to be exactly perfectly right. We can overdo the cleaning of the house because it needs to be completely perfect. No, it doesn't. There's a family that lives here. And when it comes to homeschooling, your kids are human beings and they're going to make mistakes. And guess what? You are too. And that's okay. When we are perfectionists, we pile an incredible burden upon ourselves that we don't need to do. So my suggestion is lose that perfectionism quick. Be okay with some things not quite right. Learn how to be content anyway. This is going to be huge and take off a huge burden of stress, not only on yourself, but everybody around you who you're expecting they should be perfect as well. And I'm talking to myself on that one, y'all. So, but you ask me, you come here to listen to me to shoot straight with you, right? And that's what I'm going to do. Number 7, leave empty space. And there's 2 ways I'm going to talk about doing this. Number 1 is leave empty space in the calendar or on your schedule. And this applies back to whatever the number was where I said always plan for things to take longer than you think they're going to. Also, though, just leave space that's not planned for anything. Leave it blank. And then look at that. That could be time maybe that you are able then to sneak in a hobby or get a chance to read a book. Just leave it blank. I know it's a crazy concept, isn't it? Here's another thing to leave blank: surfaces in your house. Can you have a surface that stays completely clear of clutter? And if not, then start to get some. Start to work through those clutter piles a little bit at a time so that you can see blank spaces on the surfaces in your house. And that's going to provide a more restful environment for everyone. Don't turn this, though, into another perfectionist project, right? Do it a little bit at a time. Baby steps and consistency work way better over the long haul than mad dashes and then you blow up, right? Coming from one who's experienced both. Number 9, this is very hard to do in this day and age, but turn off the devices. Put your phone on airplane mode for a couple of hours so that you can focus completely on the kids and the homeschool. You'll be surprised how much less stress you feel when you don't have all those notifications binging at you all the time, or when you don't have that urge to pick it up. You know what? The dopamine we get from our phones is what encourages us to keep picking them back up again. And within 5 minutes, I can't quote the source on this, but I've heard or read that within 5 minutes, we are anxious to pick that back up again because we need another fix. So we're going to pick it up and see if we got any new mail, or we're going to pick it up and see what somebody said on Facebook, or if there's a new Instagram post that we need to see. Put it down, turn it off. Give yourself long periods of time each day where you are not on your phone or other device, and see how much less stress you have on any given day, and feel how much more you feel like yourself. because that's what we're after. You know, the symptom is no time for myself, right? But what we're really experiencing is it's not always just the time, it's the stress. And also, how much time does that device take up out of your day that could be better used elsewhere? So this is a kind of a double whammy here. Not only are you less stressful when you've put that device down and turned it off, but you also have more time to use to do the other things that delete your stress or decrease your stress also. Last but not least, put some hobby time into the plan. So not only just leave the white spaces where, oh, hey, maybe if I want to during that white space, I can pick up the hobby, but no, actually plan it. So I did. I had a moment last week where I'm like, I have not played the piano in months. That was something that I used to do regularly because I used to play piano for my church. So I used to have to practice almost every day. I don't play piano for my church anymore. So I haven't played it in so long and I miss it. And I didn't realize until I realized how long it had been, right? Are there things in your life that have been set aside and you didn't even remember that you wanted to do them? Plan some of those in the schedule. You know what? It may only be for a half an hour at a time. That is okay. Find that half an hour, and it doesn't have to be every day. It might only be once a week. It might only be once a month, but pick that time and then protect it to give yourself another outlet for your time. You know, homeschooling is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. We can't get away from that. We live homeschooling 24/7. That is who we are. But that doesn't mean we have to give up everything else that made us happy or that brought us joy. So maybe it's playing an instrument. Maybe it's just reading a good book. I do fit that in right before I turn off the light at night. I don't fit a lot of it in because half the time after 5 minutes, my lids are starting to droop. But I do have a book on my nightstand, and every night I'm reading for at least a couple minutes. And that is a great time for me. Maybe it's knitting. I did decide a couple weeks ago I'm going to knit 2 rows on that blanket a night, just 2 rows a night. That's all I have time to get in, but 2 rows a night over a couple of months is going to make a difference. Whereas before, that thing was sitting in the bag in my closet for months, not getting any further along. What are some things like this that you can put into your day where you're bringing these interests back out and doing them even just a little bit at a time? Plan those as part of your schedule. Don't leave them out. It might mean that something else has to get shortened a little bit. Maybe you make a simpler dinner that night, or hey, order pizza, right? Whatever it takes, but give yourself the gift of that much time to do something that you want to do. It's not going to hurt your family, unless you go overboard, but you're not going to go overboard. You're going to be reasonable about it. So make it part of the plan. So these have been 10 things that have helped me to have a sense of self, if you will, to feel like I have the opportunity to rejuvenate myself a little bit, to reduce some of the stress load, to give myself a little bit more time to be me. And so hopefully they have helped you as well. And you can maybe implement 1 or 2 of them in your life right now and see a difference. You know, homeschooling high school isn't always easy, but it doesn't have to be that hard. And I'm here to help you with all of that. Check out my website, annieandeverything.com. Subscribe to the newsletter and get regular encouragement from me in your inbox, as well as tips and resources and just whatever's happening. You can be the recipient of it. Head to my website and do that today. Okay, and the link will be in the show notes. Have a great day.